Afternoon, everyone. Today, this rainy Labor Day, Monday, August the 5th, I believe, or September the 5th, pardon me. Wanted to talk to you a little bit about batteries and battery voltages and amps and what I've, my experience with that and stuff. So right here, we're looking at a 62 volt battery, 1440 watts, 24.5 amp hours. And I wanted to speak to you about why 36, 48, 52, 62, 72 volt batteries and so forth, why you might want a bigger battery or more voltage or something like that. Now, with my experience, I've used 48, 52, 62, and 72. So currently, all my bikes are 62 to 72 volt. And I'll get over here and sit down and pan out on these bikes there. This one here is a 24.5 amp hour battery, 72 volt, 21700 cells. And the ones in these little Catrike bags, you can't really see it, but it's smaller. They're like 62 volt, 18650 cells, and they're this one's like 14.5 amp hour batteries. So what I've found as I've went up with the voltage, the speed increases a bit, depends on where you're at. You do notice the speed increases a little bit. And the torque of pulling power also increases. And then my understanding also as well is more volts gives you more power, same like with amp hours, but amp hours produce heat, and by increasing the voltage, you can get away from having to pump so many amps through your system, so it's a little easier on your motors, so the motors will stay cooler. So that's something I believe I've spoken correctly and I found out. But the big thing for me is you take this bike here with the 18650 cells, and I'm getting approximately, pretty consistently, 100 miles, 90 to 120 at the best. Depends again on hills and temperature and how fast you're going, but pretty safe. I can go 90 miles on this bike. Now I have two batteries on each bike of the same thing, pretty much. So now on that yellow bike way over here on the end, I'll get off my butt here. This one with the 24.5 amp hour 62 volt, I can go pretty consistently around 145 miles. Again, could vary 10 or 15 miles high or low of that if the trail's flat, if you're doing 15. But I base these numbers, for me, it's averaging. I ride 20 to 30 miles an hour typically. Most of the time, not always. There's many times I'm riding at 10, 15 or 30 plus, but I would say I'm close to averaging in the low to mid 20s would be typical. And with them numbers, I can get, like on the orange one, I can get around 100 miles, let's say, 145 on the yellow one with them 62 volt, 24.5 amp hour batteries. And on this one with the 72 volt and the 21700 cells, that's my newest one. and I don't know the value of the cells. They're Samsung or something, or Panasonic. But anyhow, I'm able to pretty consistently get 200 plus miles. I did that, got 2 rides out of it and did run out of battery the day I rode 250 miles on a 2-day ride, which is quite a lot, but I typically ride 100, 150 a day. So that was on the green bike. So now what I've noticed each time I've went up with the voltage and bigger battery and stuff, like I said, we go over that again, is that the bike motor was a little cooler. The big thing was the torque and everything else. I've also downloaded, don't know how to do that on the phone or get, do the editing, but Google up it's also a big thing too as you get up to the voltage. Bear with me here a minute. Google, pictures of charts of the different voltages and stuff. So I've got a real nice one that shows 36, 48, 52, 62, 72. And at looking at that chart, I'll just talk about it a minute and show on the latest bike there. I call that the Green Hornet. As you go up in voltage, the 36, let's start with that, has like the narrowest range of, call it the power band, or how long it lasts and how powerful it is. And you go up, 48 gets a little bit better. But when you jump up to the 72, which I think is, the best, or one of the best, the spread of power and how long the battery lasts and the usability of it is much greater, even over like a 30, let's say a 36 volt, which is pretty uncommon these days because the industry standards pretty much went to 48, 52. Well, we'll go to the 48, even in comparison to 48. I would say it's almost 35 to 45% broader power, how long it will last, and how powerful it is. A 72 volt, just by going up to 72 volt over 48, is approximately 35 to 45% more usable power. So that's why when I went up with a 72 volt system, even over the 62, I've increased the things on the 2 bikes over there, the yellow one and the green one. They both have the same amp hours, 24.5 amp hour battery. One is 21,700 cells, the others are 18,650. Then the other difference is 62 volt versus 72 volts. So I went from 145 miles to 250 miles, so 50 to 100 miles greater. And the 2 changes being made is 72 volt system versus a 62 volt. So that's how dramatic it is between that voltage. So the 700 cells have more storage capacity and power, and then the 72 volts. So between them 2 things, with identical amp hour batteries, I've increased my miles by 50 to 100, depending on how hard you ride the machine. And once again, I tend to ride at a kind of race pace, is what I used to do before I developed my Parkinson's. That's why you see me shaking or hear the phone shaking, or I struggle with some of my memory or being able to talk to you very well, so pardon that. But I do want to, that's part of the reason why I'm doing the videos, is to document some things I enjoy doing and things that I'm going through, and I want it out there in, video for friends and family and myself to see. So I don't know how long I will be continuing to do good enough to do all this, but for now I can. So I appreciate everybody bearing with me, and hopefully this will be of value to people, that my channel, and I'll hoping to get grow it and get subscribers and all this and that. So that's my goal, is to be able to share these things with you all, and to hopefully someday make a few bucks on it to help me out in my with my poor health and older age, me and my wife. So anyhow, so that's that. So that's something I found. So if you can look up that chart and Google it, different battery charts of voltages, it'll show you that as you go up in volts, the power, I call it the power band, or the range of power increases. So the battery, you can go further, faster, and you get more runtime basically out of it. So I just told you a few minutes ago about the difference between the 62 volt and the 72 volt. I'm able to go 50 to 100 miles further, but just because then if you look at the chart, it tells you the same thing. Plus I have these Grintech chargers over here, and they also are smart chargers, so they tell you cycle statiator, so they tell you what state of tune the battery's in and how much you use. So when I plug that in after a ride, it says I'm down to a certain percentage of voltage, and I know where I'm at and what I'm doing with that. So if you have any questions or comments, as usual, feel free to ask away. I know I jump around a lot, and there's things I've probably missed out on, but I just wanted to share that with you. And so once again, this is my original bike over here, and it had I had the batteries made to fit in the cat trike, so that was my first go. And then there's a little cricket there or something. And then this is my second build, and I decided I wanted bigger batteries because I kept running out on the smaller battery. So I got this built. These are Lunicycle batteries, triangle batteries, and I just zip tied them onto the frame there. And then my third bike I just built up last winter is this one. And I got these are from Grin Technology, of the batteries. And I zip tied them onto the frame between the cross members, as you can see there. These are 175 pound zip ties each one. And I've got batteries on both sides, so been very pleased with that. I love the range, the power. It's kind of just a ball to ride. It's very powerful, goes very far, very controllable and fun. There's just nothing you can't do on it. So I hope to make more videos of me out riding it and doing different things on that. So that's my third build. So my wife rides the orange one, which is my original one. That was also my race bike back when I was pedaling. So that's my three builds, and so that's kind of a little bit on the batteries. So consider more voltage, and you'll get more power and more range and more usability out of your electric bikes. So hope that's been helpful to everybody, and appreciate everybody watching and liking and subscribing. So There you go. That's my shop talk on batteries and battery voltage. Thank you.